What's up, everyone, and welcome to the 43rd episode of the Control Freak podcast. I am your host, Alex Blackard, or @LessAlex on Twitch and Twitter, where I stream on Twitch 4 nights a week, so make sure to go follow me on both of those places. Today is going to be kind of a short episode. With all this COVID-19 stuff going on right now, not a whole lot of paper Magic being played these days, but I am joined today by a returning guest and a good friend of mine, the one and only Jake Stehlik. Jake, how's it going?
Pretty good. How about you?
It's going as good as it can, social distancing and whatnot, but yeah, having time with the kiddo and the family.
Oh yeah, that's always the best.
Yeah. So
do the things that you don't have time to do.
Right. So yeah, exactly. It's been good, but still paying attention to Magic for everybody, and still have my finger on the pulse, if you will, and that's what we're gonna kind of talk about today. We are going to be talking about the Modern and Pioneer preliminaries, as well as the Pioneer Challenge that happened on Monday. We will talk that, and it's going to be a real kind of a short episode this week. As always, today's episode is sponsored by my lovely patrons over at patreon.com/LessAlex. If you enjoy this content, if you enjoy the streams, if you enjoy the YouTube, head on over there, consider becoming a patron. There's a lot of awesome perks and fun things I give away, stickers and all sorts of stuff over there, and extra content. So go check that out. Additionally, I have a TCG Player affiliate link in the description below. So if you're on the interwebs and searching for Magic the Gathering cards, make sure to hit up that link, and it will help me out. They cut me off a little piece of pie every time you use that link. And additionally, head on over to Apple Podcasts, give this a 5-star review. I don't want any 1 or 2 stars. Just give me a 5-star if you dig it. If not, DM me and tell me how much you hate my podcast. Either way, like I said, we are going to be talking Pioneer and Modern today. Again, kind of an abbreviated episode just because there's no events. I mean, SCG, I guess we could talk about this. Yeah, SCG.
Talk about what's been happening.
SCG, Star City Games, and Wizards of the Coast have canceled the next month's worth of Grand Prix and Opens.
So up until Magic Fest Charlotte, which is May 7th to 10th, everything is canceled. So paper Magic has definitely taken a big dive.
Yeah.
The next thing that's actually scheduled is Magic Fest Toronto, which is May 22nd through the 24th, which we can hope happens, but I don't think we should push it.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy too, because I'm wearing a Cardinals hat right now. Sports have been canceled. Everything has been canceled. There's states that are having mandated quarantines, and you have to stay at home and stuff. It's just, it's wild. I don't think I know I've never experienced anything like this ever.
I'm younger than you, and I honestly, I've asked people around me, they're like, do you know when this happened ever before? And
no,
what was it?
Never.
2002. I don't remember what the disease that was going around then, but that even
was it SARS. I think
it's SARS. Didn't even make that big. I mean, that wasn't as big in the United States, but
right.
No, this is probably the biggest epidemic of probably the millennial generation.
For sure.
The biggest event. This will probably be the thing that, every generation has a thing that they're known for. This is probably what we're gonna remember.
Yeah, well, I mean, my generation definitely had 9/11, and I've been paying very close attention. If you have any older folks that you care about, definitely take it kind of seriously. I'm not going to get preachy this episode like I did last episode, but I have been paying attention, and basically what it's seeming like is this is this generation's 9/11, but it's a very slow burn, and it's going to obviously impact way more people. But there is actually something really awesome, and I didn't put this in our show notes, and I do apologize, but there is a tournament series that kind of has sprouted from the COVID-19 stuff, And Pascal Maynard has shared it in a couple of the arena groups I'm in, and
Mm-hmm.
he is. I don't know if it's run by him or what, but they are putting on arena tournaments where
Is it for standard or historic?
standard and historic. So
Oh,
all sorts of
okay.
stuff. Yeah. So yeah, I mean it's great. It little small purses, like nothing crazy. I think the first tournament was like $200 purse.
You know what? If you can make something to push Magic right now,
Yeah,
do it.
exactly. And I believe both standard events were 200, and I think the historic one. There's been three so far. There's been two standard ones and one historic, and the historic one was won by Blue White Control.
Oh.
So yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, I'm glad that someone out there is pushing for these tournaments. And it's open to everybody, but they prefer streamers just to kind of
Get the name out.
showcase Magic. Yeah, and and I think that's really something cool that at least a little silver lining in this whole.
The innovation, because people want to play Magic. I mean,
absolutely.
we are in springtime Magic, and this is like when Magic is usually the best time, because we have a lot of events that happen between February to April, and then there are usually 2 to 3 sets that come out within this time period, and new sets are awesome. I mean, I got to draft Mystery Boosters 2 times before everything got shut down, and that was probably the most fun draft experience I've had in a long time.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say basically the exact same thing. So
it's a blast.
I
drafted 2 Fire Gambits, lost every flip the first time, and didn't get a single one. I got 2 copies, and I never won a flip the entire day. It was actually amazing.
So yeah, there's stuff to be, Arena has unlocked historic ranked, which is awesome. They've also unlocked Brawl, which is very cool. Like, just the fact that Wizards they could have done it a million different ways, right? They could have. Wizards makes these decisions sometimes, and it's just not great. And it's like a head scratch. Like, why the hell are they making these kinds of decisions? But I think they hit the nail on the head. They're doing the pre-releases on Arena with in-store LGS. You can get promos and stuff. So, I mean, it's good all the way around. They're making the best out of what is an absolute terrible situation. So, tip of the cap over to Wizards of the Coast, because I mean, they could have botched this big time.
they could have said, we're just not going to support it. Like, I mean, I don't think they would have not said they're going to support it, but I think they could have said, we're just going to take the back seat and let it ride out. Yep. But I think it shows. I think 2020 kind of shows the year that Wizards is going to take the front seat instead of saying, we're going to let Channel Fireball, we're going to let Star City Games handle all the Magic events. And I honestly want to see, after this event, after COVID and everything, I'd really like to see Wizards take the driver's seat back into Magic again.
Yeah, and it's crazy too, because before all this, we were all, and myself included, maybe not complaining, but kind of like scratching our head. They keep cashing in, pulling that money lever with the whole secret layer thing. And right before this all, at least in America, it really started to blow up and took center stage and took the spotlight. That was what everybody was focusing on, was, oh my gosh, they're greedy, they're they're doing this, and then they're doing that, and they're really doing what I think is right. They're making Brawl available, they're making historic ranked available, and traditional historic ranked, which, for those of you who have never played Arena, traditional is just normal Magic where we play 3 games. And then they have historic where it's only best of 1, which I'm not a fan of.
Best of 1 is not how Magic was intended.
Yeah, it's basically, if you play best of 1, you're probably just playing red decks, like you're just crushing
actual standard red decks.
Yep,
which suck.
Believe ya.
But no, it's I have not played a lot of historic. I just figured out that I totally forgot that Thalia, Guardian of Thraben, is in it, and there might be a taxes list.
Oh yeah,
there might. They got Tithe Taker. You got Charming Prince, Kajali Sunwing. There's a lot of okay creatures that might make the list. So I'll have to brew around with that. I might have a deck for you.
Oh yeah. What's the blue white lady who?
I mean, there's just so many blue white. How far does Historical back? Does it reach Eldritch yet?
No. Eldritch isn't officially in the game.
Okay, it's not.
It's programmed in the game, but it's not like in the game.
It's not weird. In the game.
Yeah, it's not EA Sports. It's in the game. So moving on. Yeah, I mean, do you have anything else you want to say about this whole kind of living on the internet, basically?
I think everyone knows what's going on. Just keep adapting and stay safe.
Yeah, wash your hands. But moving on, we do have a Pioneer preliminary that I did want to talk about. It happened just yesterday, March 21st, as we record this. So, of course, if you're new here, these events, they're just 5-round tournaments. It's not like a challenge or anything that is like, 5 or 6, 7, 8 rounds, depending on how many people are in it. So basically, you just pay 5 rounds, and whatever your record is basically what you get paid out in tickets and in chests and all that good stuff on Moto. So let's take a look at this first list. Falcon went 5-0. And again, there's going to be multiple 5-0s because it's just run it till you basically lose. So this is mono white Walking Ballista Heliod Sun Crown combo with X3 Gideon of the Trials. I mean, what's your take on this? I personally think Gideon's just a house right now with...
I think if you're playing white in Pioneer and you're not playing some amount of Gideons, you're not playing the right deck.
Yeah, I agree. With how prevalent, or at least it appears... the perception is that Inverter is the best deck. Now, of course, Wizards has refuted with their own statistics and everything, and that's fine.
It was like 49% win rate.
That's what they say. on Moto. And now Moto's the only place we can play it, so I guess that's all that matters.
We're gonna have some pretty good number, Wizards. You got some data coming after this month.
So much data. But yeah, this is the list. Now right here, I will of course link all this stuff in the show notes for everyone to look at. But yeah, 5-0 for 3 Gideons. Of course, we've got Walking Ballista, Thraben Inspector. Elspeth Conquers Death is kind of a spicy one here. I mean, this card's hot.
It's a house. It can start you from not being able to combo to just comboing off.
Oh yeah. And it deals with a lot of problematic cards. It deals for us blue-white players, of course, it deals with, detention spheres. It deals with Teferi 3 and 5. I mean, it deals with a lot of, basically all of our permanents it can take care of. So yeah, I mean, we look at the sideboard. There's a 4th Gideon of the Trials in the board. They've got Damping Spheres for the Breach deck. They've even got a Deicide, which is pretty hot.
What does that do?
It's just
hate for the mirror match.
Yeah, and it also hits Breach, too. So, like, if they play it, you can tag it because it's an instant, and they can't combo off. And Gideon's Intervention against Inverter.
Well, Deicide actually just makes him not be able to combo off at all because it exiles
all of them,
all the Heliots. That's pretty powerful.
Oh yeah. So that's the first 5-0 list there. And then another 5-0 list, Triosk. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but this is Sultai Delirium. This is a deck that you probably would enjoy as
I tried it and then I sold my Jaces by accident, by big mistake, but I mean, Sultai Ishkana is a very powerful card. I think Nisha, Who Shakes the World, is by far one of my most hated cards in Standard right now. It might be the most obnoxious Planeswalker. Like, I think I'm starting to hate it more than 5-drop Teferi right now, and it's
that's big words.
I do not like Nisha Shakes the World. I think it's so powerful. And then the Sultai package just has the absolute best removal. Abrupt Decay is, how do you say no to Abrupt Decay? It kills Getting of the Trials. It kills
Teferi,
Detention Spheres. Yeah, Teferis.
Narset. Like, it kills everything.
Kills everything you want to deal with. And then if you have a deck that could just say, I'm going to play Uro, and you slot 4 Uros in, and you're probably doing really well, and you have a perfect, I see what, like 5 different ways of just saying Uro's also online.
Yeah, and this deck is playing the Traverse package with Emrakul Promised End. And a card that right here on this very podcast, I, myself and Adam Cohen talked about in the Theros Beyond Death preview show. Ashiok Nightmare Muse. We out here. Mama, we made it. It has finally started to make some waves. I mean, if I'm thinking about this in perspective of blue-white control, blue-white control does not want this card to resolve because it deals with every permanent and it creates constant threats until they're just like ready to crush you with the ult.
They're also 2/3s. Which is
2/3, which is very
pretty
relevant.
Big.
Yeah.
Like that, Elspeth can't just straight up deal with that. And if you want to waste a Supreme Verdict on killing 2 to 3,
it's not profitable. You have to counter it.
Oh yeah, that's really good.
Yeah, I mean, Ashiok Nightmare Muse is a nightmare for blue-white control. So definitely, if you're playing against this deck, it's a 5-drop, so you do have time to kind of prepare for it. But the thing with this deck is it hits you at almost every point in the curve of having just, hey, especially, and I'm thinking about this for the blue-white matchup again. Uro is a must answer. Obviously, Tireless Tracker's great. Even Scavenging Ooze is kind of a sticky threat that is just
Ooze is really
annoying. Jason's Prodigy you can't let flip. Ishkana late game is just annoying. This one's playing Hostage Taker, so we don't care so much about that, but I mean, and then Emrakul, if they resolve Emrakul, it's very hard to come back from unless you have like a hand that is situated in such a way that it's really hard for them to do much. Like basically, if your hand's bad.
Oh yeah.
So,
I've tried to play a lot of Sultai in Modern, and the Sultai in Modern just doesn't want to work.
Yeah.
I'm kind of glad, like the green something or the green blue X mid-range decks are actually playable in Pioneer, and it makes me so happy.
Yeah, and it's mostly because you're like very slightly splashing blue. I forget, somebody on stream last night said that blue just doesn't play very well with these these color. Like green is fine, but like it just, you know, these blue cards in this deck are just like houses.
You are playing blue for the best cards that blue can play.
Yeah. And
that is Uro, Tamiyo's a house, Ashiok's a house, and Jace is probably, I mean, I wish it was Grimflayer, but Jace is probably better than Grimflayer. I mean, being able to flashback Fatal Push, Abrupt Decay,
you can flip it so fast, too.
I mean, what, like, you play turn 2, turn 3, Grizzly Salvage, flip my Jace?
Yep.
Like, you have a turn 3, I don't remember, Jace, I don't remember what the flip side's even called, but I know what it does.
The other side.
Jace, the other side. I just call it baby, they call it baby Jace, I call it Fatal Push.
Absolutely. Nice. So yeah, I mean, Sultai's still out here, still doing big things. As we'll talk about a little bit later, both versions, the Emrakul with the Traverse packages and the non-Emrakul version, are both still performing very well, and they need to be atop the list. Now, speaking from the blue-white perspective, it's pretty good matchup as long as you don't get mana screwed, but as long as you're hitting your land drops and drawing relevant cards, basically your plan game one is to literally mill them with Teferi 5, because they can play a long game, but you can play a very long game. So that's the plan game one, and then game number 2, you basically want to get aggressive and just stick a Dream Trawler or a Gideon or a
How do they?
mentor.
They can't deal with Dream Trawler.
No, they absolutely. I mean, they can obviously like Murderous Rider it or murder it or something like that. But
I mean, they can slam an Emrakul,
yeah,
and
yeah.
slamming Emrakul or jumping with Ishkanah for like 5 turns is probably the only way you're going to deal with that card, because Dream Trawler is a house. Yeah. I'm on the train. Dream Trawler is better than Ojutai.
Absolutely, this podcast has always believed that. But yeah, I mean, if they're gonna kill it with Murderous Rider, you have to have had a rough go of it and have no cards in your hand. So that's probably a pie in the sky kind of scenario.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, this is a pretty favorable matchup, I would say, for blue-white control, though. So moving on down the line, we have Parrotlet. Again, sorry if I butchered that, at 5-0. So 3 5-0s in this preliminary. So usually there's only 1 or 2, but we have 3 in this one. So that's probably because there's so many people playing.
Hey, how many people are? Does it give you a player count?
It does not tell me how many.
I gotta imagine it's gotta be pretty big, because you got a lot of people who are probably for the first time thinking, I think I'm gonna start playing Magic. I've thought about it. I've played like 3 games of Magic the Gathering Online.
Nice.
And I'm right now. I am in a position where I'm like, I kind of want to play Magic the Gathering Online because I want to play Magic. So I imagine these tournaments are huge.
I think they're probably pretty decent size. And it's funny because the standard one, which Moto standard events typically have a very small amount of people or just don't even fire. The standard one like filled up within the first like 10 seconds or something.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So Parrotlet 5-0 with Hidden Strings Breach combo. Obviously, this deck is a staple. This is, in my opinion, probably the best deck in the format. Just because it's not putting up results is due to the fact that people have adjusted to it and the fact that people just simply will not play it. There are just some people that love their grindy mid-range decks or their control decks just far too much to ever play this nonsensical, solitaire style deck. This one's playing Tamiyo Collector of Tales too as a one of, which is pretty spicy. What are your thoughts on this bad boy?
So I've never really had the chance to play a lot against it, but I imagine that it works a lot of the way like a lot of these Underworld Breach decks kind of work, where it's just looping a card over and over again. I don't think it's a healthy deck. Like Pioneer, I don't feel Pioneer's quite ready for combo like this. I don't think it has quite the amount of tools. I think that this deck, I mean, cycling might be one of the strongest just card abilities in the game because it's almost completely uninteractable.
Sure.
I think in Pioneer it probably is uninteractable. So I think
you can
that
stifle it, you can whirlwind denial it and stuff like that.
You have like nimble instructionist. You don't actually have. That's like the only thing that deals with cycling, because there is no
whirlwind
stifle.
denial.
That's right, the new one.
Yeah. But yes, I get your point. But the thing is, and this is what Wizards said when they announced the bans, and the reason they didn't ban this, it was Damping Sphere is free in any deck. Like any deck can play that.
That's true. Yeah, and Dampening Sphere is. But at the same time, I mean, the Center's Deliverance just kills it. And I imagine Dissenter's Deliverance, Ratchet Bomb, Natural State, and this deck, Return Nature. I see so many anti-artifact cards in this deck that they play it, you kill it, and then you go off.
Yeah, I mean, the deck is very good, and I personally do think it's this this and Inverter for like best deck, like decks. 1 and 1A. But yeah, I think in terms of blue-white versus control, the key cards for us, obviously, if you're thinking about having to have to play against this, play more Narsets. Make sure you keep hands that have counterspells and interaction, and of course, Teferi 3, because that card is very good against it.
Can they win through it?
Teferi 3?
Yeah, can they win through it?
Yeah. They can win through it. They can't win through Narset, though. I mean, it's very hard for them to win through Narset.
I can't imagine them winning through Narset.
Yeah.
Like, not saying your cycle means you discard a card, probably just kills them.
Yeah. Yeah. So those 2 cards are very good. And then, of course, you want to bring in Rest in Pieces or, anything that affects the graveyard.
Your graveyard hate.
Or, threats. Monastery Mentor. Stuff like that. The big boy, Dream Trawler, all great against this deck. So yeah, moving on. We have one that it has taken a backseat since the very inception of the format. This is Mono Green Devotion. Look at that. 4 Nykthos Shrine to Nyx. It's back. It's like Shady. It's back again. Burning Trees. Elvish Mystic, Genesis Hydra, Jade Light, Voracious Hydra, even a Voyaging Satyr. Remember that, Jim?
Jeez. That's been a while.
Oh, yeah. Vivian Arcbow Ranger, because, why not? Triple G1 is always a good thing for a deck that's playing Nykthos. Ugin, Nissa, and, of course, Karn the Great Creator. And let's see, is this playing... Not really, kind of playing a Wishboard. Not really. It's playing Walking Ballistas. It's playing Verdurous Gear Hulk. And it's playing Damping Spheres.
I see, every card except for what the Scoos is an artifact. So I pretty much call
Heaven
this.
to Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah, you're right.
It's a Wishboard. And
I like it. I like Wishboards. I'm a fan. I like Karn the Great Creator as a card.
Yeah,
I would never play this deck. Don't get me wrong, but
too much broccoli.
I like too much broccoli. I like this deck in theory. Like
I think it's powerful.
I think this deck should be the kind of deck that we see in Pioneer.
Yeah, it's a slow, grindy mid-range deck that has explosive starts. A lot of these threats, the creature threats in this deck also just die at a fatal push. Like Genesis Hydra in the battlefield is just a 2-mana creature. But do you think Karn is healthy for Magic? Because excluding the Wishboard, do you think Karn was healthy for any format?
I don't think any of the war passive ability planeswalkers are necessarily healthy.
Yeah.
Like this is something on stream people, will talk about all the time is like, Teferi 3 is excellent. I'm like, yeah, I love that card. But at the same time, I hate that card and I think it was a mistake. Teferi, Time Raveler was a mistake, as I think a lot of these were. Like Nissa shakes the world, all of them. Like all of the ones that are good are almost too good, right?
And they synergize way too well with themselves.
Oh yeah, that was like always the thing too, right? Like all the planeswalkers were like cute because like you'd up it and then you'd be able to down it and it would have like synergize with itself. But yeah, having passive abilities on these planeswalkers just makes it so much more so.
Would you rather they have passives, or would you rather go back to the time where for like 4 sets we had the same card cookie cutter different ways? The Jace, Unraveling Mysteries, Ob Nixilis, and then I think there's one more where they were 5-mana cards. The Vivian Arcbow Ranger.
Yeah.
Or not Vivian
Reed.
They just Vivian Reed.
Yeah.
Where was it the same card, just
it's like took plummet, draw a card, win the game.
And then Jace was draw a card, bounce a thing.
Yeah.
Mill them. Ob Nixilis was draw a card, kill a thing, mill them.
Yeah, I mean, no, you don't want to have just the same card, spread out across the entire color pie. But I don't know. I think that they could have done maybe there needs to be a rule change. Like, I don't know what they could do. I definitely don't claim to, know more than them. But generally speaking, I think that they could have done a better job. But as it is, I think that they're fine. They are here to stay. I don't think Karn does anything in Pioneer that is too broken.
That's
it's
fair.
not like they're
all the
going to
Wishboard
get
cards
Lattice or anything.
No. All the Wishboard cards are like, man, if you're wishing for Meteor Golem, Oh well.
Yeah.
Then you're playing a 7-mana Vindicate.
And this one's going to get God Pharaoh statue. So for those of you listening at home or watching on YouTube and don't know what this card does, it is a 6-mana artifact, legendary. It is an uncommon from War of the Spark. Spells your opponent's cast cost 2 more to cast. And at the beginning of your end step, it deals your opponent 1 damage. So it is kind of like Lattice that it taxes them heavily and then slowly kills them, but definitely nothing too crazy.
It's not. It's definitely not. It's not a card that says
no.
You don't get to play the game anymore.
Yeah. I think that eventually there could be a card that breaks Karn in like a Lattice effect, right? I think.
It's only a matter. It's a matter of time.
I think they could very easily put that on like a big dumb enchantment or artifact or whatever, and then it's a problem, right?
It's only a matter of time until we go to another artifact-centric set.
Yeah, and they need to be careful with not putting that on an artifact. If they do that effect, then they need to make sure that it's on like a creature or it's on an enchantment or maybe even a planeswalker. If they ever do passives again, Jesus Christ.
They will.
But yeah, I think this deck is like a breath of fresh air in the format. Honestly, D-Borg 7 was the player. He went 4 they went 4-1. So yeah, I mean, shout out. This is kind of cool to see this was the deck, and now it is kind of an underdog. So, and it's a deck that I think Blue-White Control just kind of dismantles unless they just go nuts.
100%.
If they go nuts, then obviously it's a rough time, or you just don't draw any Supreme Verdicts. But Supreme Verdict is your chef's kiss, best friend in this matchup. Draw them early, draw them often, and I don't think you can lose against this deck if you do that.
They're really not playing too many like sideboard cards that are just like houses against control. A lot of this is like, I mean, the Great Henge is probably good. Ulamog's very good.
Great Henge is insane. Yeah.
But they're cards that you can respond to fairly quick and very easily. Like against like Great Henge, you just Dampening Sphere it and forget about it.
You mean Detention Sphere?
The D-Sphere.
Yeah, cast out. You can Jace it. Whatever.
Bounce with
Walking Ballista is an issue. Of course, if the game gets so late and they have, 1 million mana, obviously Walking Ballista can fireball you, so that's not great. But overall, I think this deck is pretty favorable for control.
Let's talk about the deck that we both really hate.
Yes, this is one of my least favorite decks, not only in Pioneer, but also in Modern. And I didn't even like it in Standard. But anyways, this is _INF_ went 4-1 with blue, green, and white. So that's Bant. And this is Spirits. This is Bant Spirits. I mean, this is the deck we've seen time and time and time and time again in this format. Oh, I loathe it so much. Mausoleum Wanderer is annoying. Rattle Chains is annoying. Selfless Spirits, obviously, we hate this card. Spell Queller, like it just interacts. It does, and I explained it last night on stream. It does what we want to do, which is interact on our opponent's turn, but it has these little derpy threats that like poke you until they're not so derpy anymore. So
and as we also found out playing together last night, they always have it.
They always
That's
have
like
it.
That is the thing of Spirit decks. No matter what it is, they always just have it. Like we had a Glorybringer, and we were gonna get back our Chandra we were gonna kill their Spell Queller, and they had 1 card in hand. This was like what, turn like 7, like
it
7,
was very
8.
late in the game. Yes.
It was late in the game, and they had 1 card in hand, and of course it's Rattle Chains.
They had Rattle Chains. Make my dude hexproof. Nice attacker, idiot. Untap, kill you. Is basically how that went.
I absolutely hate Rattle Chains.
Oh my God. I just hate the whole deck. But it's a very bad matchup for Blue-White Control. For all the cards that I mentioned, this one's playing Collected Company too, so obviously that card can give us fits. Sweet 2-for-1s for them, and we cry. I mean, it's rough. It's rough, and the sideboard plan against it, just because of the very nature of the deck and the way that the games typically tend to play out, is it's just a very hard matchup. And there's,
I mean, they bring in Mystical Dispute. D-Stroke and Mystical Dispute. They just bring those two things in, and you have such a hard matchup against that because you're playing around. So you can play around the creatures, but then they counterspell you. You play around their counterspells, then they're slashing in 3 spirits in your turn.
It's rough. It's not a good matchup. It never has been. I would say your best bet is to just dip, dodge, duck, and dive around it. You can't now. To be fair, it's not like the worst matchup, but it's not like it's mono green ramp or anything. Like,
it's not a favorable match,
but it's definitely not good. So yeah. Anything else about this deck that you want to talk about? Other than
I'm okay with leaving. Dislike it.
Yeah.
Let's just go on to next deck. Another Sultai Delirium.
So this is A22EN, which shout out Zach Allen, friend of the podcast, been on the podcast 3 times. So he took this Sultai Delirium deck to a 4-1 finish. Very similar. Yeah, congratulations. Very similar to the list that we talked about previously, except he decided not to play the Traverse, the Emrakul package. He is playing 2 Traverse, but he's playing 1 main deck Despise, which I think is pretty spicy. And he's playing more Tireless Trackers as well. So I like this version, I think, a little bit more. I know that, obviously Emrakul dunks on control, but I mean, Tireless Tracker's a hell of a card. And bringing in
Tracker's
Despise,
really good.
Despise is like pretty good against us. It picks off our planeswalkers.
Dragonlord Solmgar's in the sideboard. And that just has the Teferi's Mine. They have a Scarab God in the sideboard. I mean, you can make 2 main boards look pretty similar, but the sideboard I think comes down to like really where it shows a lot of like player skill and how what matchups they feel more or less comfortable about. And there looks like there's a lot of anti-control cards in the sideboard.
Yeah, there's a Noxious Grasp, which at the beginning of the format it played in every single black.
If you were playing black, you had to play this card because it killed the 2 most important things. Like you were either killing a green or white thing. You were bringing really in like there was no green white decks, but you were playing against a green or a blue white deck.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I mean, I think this deck is really good. He's playing an Elder Spell also in the sideboard, so that's very good against us.
I think that card's insane. I'm honestly surprised that it does not see more play in other Magic matches because of how it's just 2 mana for kill as many planeswalkers as I really want.
Yeah, and if you happen to have, he's playing 3 planeswalkers. He's playing Vivian, Reed, Tameo, Collector of Tales, and Ashiok Nightmare Muse. Ding ding. Just gonna say, come on, we out here. we out here. But if you happen to have a planeswalker and you pick off two of their planeswalkers and you just get to ult, like, oh my god, you're living life. You're living the dream.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So moving on, we have Dr. Dub, I guess is how you'd pronounce that, at 4-1. This is another Burning Tree Emissary deck, but this one is a little bit different. It's kind of like a Tarka.
I like this deck.
We have Dryad Militant, which is super annoying for us. Experiment 1. Gallia,
the Endless Dance. I love this deck. Red-green aggro is always one of this is a bushwhacker deck at heart. I've played against this deck multiple times in Pioneer because there's a couple players around me that play this, and this deck can just hit you for 12 on turn 3.
Voltaic Brawler, Pelt Collector, Clothis, Gruul Spellbreaker, Goreclan Rampager. This deck is fast. Wild Slash is obviously there.
Clothis is so good versus blue eye control.
Oh yeah, it just sits there and pings them.
It does. It's so. You just play a spell and you're like, counter spell. Okay, that's cool. Next turn, I'm just gonna ping you for 2.
Mm-hmm. We got Chandra's in the board. We've got an Embercleave, which is kind of scary. Rekindling Phoenix is great. Obviously, Scavenging Ooze is fine, depending upon what's going on. And then the last deck we're going to talk about in the preliminary is this. It's just another breach deck. Yeah. So
looks pretty similar.
And one more. I wanted to talk about the scary monster, Inverter of Truth. This one is playing a main deck Ashiok Nightmare Muse. Again, ding ding. But yeah, I mean, it's still here. It's still very good.
You know it, you hate it, you love it.
Yeah, you either love it or hate it. This matchup is fine. I've talked to a lot of people, and obviously last week's episode we had on two people that were very, very well versed in the matchup. As we had one person, we had Cameron on the Inverter side, and we had Sean on the other side of the argument and they both top 16 to Indy, which is right now, as of today, the very last paper Magic tournament.
Oh my gosh.
And yeah, they broke it down, and basically they said that as long as you can take game one, it's fine. But as we look at this sideboard, there's no Elder spells in the sideboard, which Cameron said that was a huge thing that they're going to start playing now to fight off blue-white control. And if they're not playing it, I mean, I like our chances. Liliana Last Hope is like fine. I haven't been too impressed with it against control because it just kind of doesn't do anything until they ultimate it.
That's very true.
Obviously, Narset's good. This Noxious Grasp is good. But other than that, I mean, the sideboard's not really set up to beat blue-white. But with that being said, there wasn't any blue-white control decks that ended up 4-1-ing. So, yeah, I mean, I still think blue-white is in a fine position in Pioneer. You definitely have to tweak your deck towards some of these other decks. If you're going to be facing against, Sultai, I think your metagame is going to be great.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, that is the Pioneer preliminary, and that is from yesterday, March 21st. Let's move on to the Modern preliminary that is, guess what? Yeah, turns out Primeval Titan is still just amazing.
I think...
Who needs Once Upon a Time when you have Ancient Stirrings?
Honestly, I mean, Titan's insane right now. It has so many tools that I don't think banning a single card in it is going to stop it, unless you ban like Azusa. And I don't think Modern wants to ban Azusa. I mean, that's the only way you're going to kill the deck is you ban Titan.
I mean, the card's insane, right? The card's just so good. It's banned in EDH, which, I mean, say what you want about EDH or whatever, but if a card is banned in EDH, it is a very powerful card. And you're not ever spending 6 mana on Primeval Titan anyway.
No. I mean, there's just...
Or you're spending 6 mana for it, but you're never casting it on turn 6.
If you gave this deck to a not very seasoned Modern player, they look and say, is this a deck? Why are you playing this?
What the hell does this do?
Why is there a single Ghost Quarter in my 29 land deck?
Yeah.
Oh, because you have a Primeval Titan. Why is there like 12 of these crew lands? Like, why would I play those? They're slow. Oh, wait. They just kill you on turn 3 or turn 3. Was it usually turn 3, turn 4 kill? I mean, Titan's just going to keep doing whatever it wants, and playing a Karn package, I mean, it lost one of the 5 different ways it's going to kill you now. So now it's like one of the 4 different ways it's going to kill you. No longer just lattice you. Yeah. So it's forcing itself to play a little more fair, but at the same time, you lattice for liquid metal coating, you're latticing for coil engine, EE, Grafdigger's Cage,
you mean
just Bliss.
Yeah, you mean Carning.
Yeah, sorry, sure. Carning for all those.
Yeah. I mean, the deck's very good. It's very good against control. Obviously the Bant deck...
Field of the Dead. Ugh.
Yeah, Field of the Dead makes it to where you have to keep in your Supreme Verdicts, which you definitely don't want to do against this deck, typically. The Bant control deck, I do want to... we do have a couple other 5-0s, but I do want to talk about the Bant control deck that is... making waves and is really controls only fighting chance in Pioneer right now, or in Modern, excuse me. So this deck is a Stoneforge Mystic deck. It plays obviously Stoneforge Mystic, Icefang Quaddles, Jace's, both Teferis. Euro is just an insane card. Back in my day, our divinations did not let us get a land drop and were not attached to 6/6s. Archmage's Charms, Cryptics, Force Negation, Path, Leak, Astrolabe. That card's just stupid busted. So good.
Snowball's so good.
Sword of Feast and Famine is just insane right now with how many good green cards there are in Modern.
Also, notice they're not even playing Sophie anymore. There's no Sword of Fire and Ice anywhere to be seen.
Yeah.
Like,
this deck is very good. You got the Snapcasters as a 2 of. I've been meaning to try this on Moto. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. Maybe I will on stream one of these days. But, I mean, this deck is just very good. Finally, this is like the most controlling deck that has been putting up results recently. It's obviously getting a lot of attention on Moto 5.0s and stuff. I don't usually talk about 5.0s, and we're not going to talk about them this go round. But here it is, 4-1. Full PHOL was the user who took it to the 4-1. And obviously a lot of people, Skura's playing it online. He's got a really cool guide deck tech for it out there. Might be able to link that in the description, but the deck's very good, and it's probably the most playable that a Stoneforge deck has been since Hogak days. It was good during Hogak days, which is surprising as hell. But yeah, I mean, since then, the deck's very good. So I definitely think if you're listening to this podcast and you want to play Control in Modern, play that version.
This is probably your best bet because, Icewind Kotal is an insane card.
It's so good.
You can play Uro. There's so many. This is just like
Euro's insane in the deck.
It's just the blue-white, Stoneblade deck, but better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and you have to play some green spells, which I don't think any of these green spells aren't just busted.
Yeah, these aren't green spells. These are like Ice Fang seems like Baleful Strix.
Ice Fang is just Baleful Strix.
Euro's insane. It's like a 6/6 divination or whatever. That's it, right? Those are the green cards. Oh,
that's about it.
You get Veil of Summer. You get 1 mana Cryptic Command. So
in your sideboard you get to just play. You play Snap. You play Veil, Snap, Veil, and that's just
so insane.
That costs what, 8 mana less, Cryptic Snap, Cryptic.
Yeah.
Maybe 10 mana less.
Yeah. So play this deck if you're in Modern and you're wanting to play a Jason Mind Sculptor deck. It's definitely the way to go. So another 5.0, Twinless Twin is the user.
That's one that I think this is the one that I wanted to talk about.
Yeah,
not this one. The one below it.
Okay, so let's get through this one. This is Urza Lord High Artificer deck. It is technically Rug, but this is a blue-green deck through and through. It plays Euro. The Goose is loose in this one. We're seeing Cryptic Commands, Archmage Charms, Galvanic Blast, which is the red card, Metallic Rebuke.
Metallic Rebuke is actually insane with Astrolabe.
Oh yeah.
It's 1 mana leak. It's free mana leak almost. It's so good. And banning Mox Opal didn't even really stop that.
Didn't do anything. They just put more baubles and more explosives in it.
Exactly. You didn't really banning Mox slowed the deck down, but
it's playing freaking Blood Moon in the sideboard.
Yeah. We're kind of at a point in Modern where you kind of start having these talks about, do we just ban the key card in all these decks because they're just so oppressive? Do you just ban Prime Time? Do we just ban Urza? Because all these decks rely on just one card being in the deck. Maybe Urza's not super necessary for this deck, but at the same time it is.
Definitely lets it go insane. Right?
Oh yeah. At what point do we just these cards are becoming problems? And it's not even like a solution where you go turn 1 Thoughtseize, same turn, what do you call it? Surgical Extraction. Yeah. Because then they're just gonna say, sweet, I'm gonna play an Uro, kill you that way. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, I'm just gonna counter your Metallic Rebuke all your like spells up to turn 6, and then I'm just gonna kill you. There's so many ways around this because Astrolabe enables cards like Archmage's Charm, Cryptic Command. Like, how many red sources is the deck actually playing for Galvanic Blast? I see a Steam Vents.
Yep.
I see a Steam Vents. I see no other
factual one red source.
It's like one red. I mean, a modern fetches don't matter. Like, it doesn't really matter. But you blow up their Steam Vents with like a fielded, and
Ruin, yeah.
Who cares? We have 3 snowballs, and that's just gonna kill. We're just gonna blast you in your own step.
Yep. Okay. So moving on, this is the deck you wanted to talk about, 5-0, and this one is a spicy meatball.
I love this one.
Mordekaiser. Okay, sure. Yep. This is 5-0. Take it away.
5-0. It's a Niftalite. I love Niftalite. I think this deck is sweet. I think that this is also you can patronize me as much as you want, but I think this is also a control deck that control players can start looking at because by nature it's kind of it's a tap out control deck. Niv Mizzet, if you've never played a Niv Mizzet before,
I've played against it, but
I have gone 8. I've drawn 8 cards off of Niv Mizzet, and that just feels like the best thing in Magic when you just go Niv Mizzet, draw 8 cards. Sweet, bring to light. I have a bring to light. I have like 1,000 things in my hand just to kill you next turn, and it's sweet. It's powerful. The card that I'm really interested in is it's playing 3 Bloodbraid Elves, which is really interesting because normally the Wrenn and 6 is where you want to get your Gruul card, but Bloodbraid lets you just. I mean. Many cards.
It hits everything. It hits Teferi, it hits Ashiok, it hits Wrenn and 6, it hits Euro, it hits Kroxa.
Oh no, I hit an Astrolabe off my Bloodbraid. Guess I just get a draw card.
Yeah.
This is a sweet deck.
And it's playing Lightning Helix. Like, let's go.
I'm honestly surprised it's not playing. They've cut the Wish package, the Glittering Wish package, which really surprises me. Because you're just relying on your main board, which kind of the cool thing about Niftalite was Niv, Wish, get the perfect answer.
Yeah. Deal
with that, which is one thing, but I like this deck. I think this deck is absolutely sweet.
No, it's definitely sweet. I mean, Veil of Summer's here. The sideboard's obviously insane because they can play every color.
You're just playing the best. I mean, not playing the best because you can't really play Rest in Peace in this deck, but you're gonna be like what your graveyard hates. Like Kaya's Guile's really good.
Kaya's Guile, yes, good old Kyle's Guile. No, it's very good.
What is that between Kaya's Guile and Kemal? Is that a Boil?
Yeah, every deck's playing Boil because the primetime decks have the.
You just get them
everything and you can blow up all their lands.
That's so mean.
So every red deck's playing Boil now, yeah. Sure. So another 5-0 here. This is Sydney Dude. 5-0. Another
Urza deck.
Another Urza deck. Not going to talk about it. Good job. Big JC 0-0 with a 4-1 with good old fashioned Eldrazi Tron. So yeah. Not much to talk about there either. I mean, it is what it is. That deck is sweet. And then Yama Killer 4-1 with another primetime deck. There is no amulet in this one, so it's just the good.
It's just Scape Shift.
The good old fashioned Valakut Scape Shift version. And then we just see a bunch of primetime decks. Just a bunch of primetime decks, and then
Dredge by PRGJ.
Yeah.
Gajar. I'm sorry. Where you get to Dredge, and I mean, Dredge has gotten so. Ox is very good in Dredge. Ox made Dredge a deck again. It's super powerful. You don't think it is until you get Ox played against you, and then they're like, sweet, discard my triple Stinkwing and Imp hand and Dredge 15, and you're just like, what? Yeah, creepy chill you for 12. I'm gonna get back 2 2 Narcomoebas, I got 3 more Bloodghast in the grave, and I'm going to play a land, and I'm going to hit you for, I don't know, like 12?
Mm-hmm.
The next, it's really...
The other 4-1 that I want to talk about is good old-fashioned Tron. Latron James, 4-1. Blind Navigator is the name of the user.
I was really excited.
But yeah, I mean, I can't believe I'm at a point in Modern where I'm like, I wish that Tron was the best deck again. But I am at that point.
I mean, Tron's a deck that just has that cult following. There are people who say
it's like blue-white control.
Yep, there are people going to live, breathe, and die by the turn 3 Karn.
Oh yeah, and they did. There's 4 Karn Liberateds. I know that some of the Tron lists even were starting to trim on Karn Liberated, but this one 4 Karn the Great Creator and 2 Ugins. We got Ulamog as a 2 of. We got Wormcoil. The hits. The boys are back in town. This is actual factual, good old fashioned Tron.
The thing that always gets me with Tron is they play like 20 to 18 to 20. They play 18 to 20 lands. And that's like a burn deck amount.
Yeah.
Which always surprises me. It's like, it's a big mana deck, but we're not even playing 20.
Yeah. The not sure, the underscore not sure, Tron as well. And then we have what people are like quietly saying under their breath is the best deck in Modern, which is this brand new Ad Nauseam deck. This one happens to actually be playing Ad Nauseam, which some of them aren't. But this one, Ad Nauseam with Thassa's Oracle. Yeah, Thassa's Oracle is screwing up another format. Now, I really like this. Actually, my first Moto Modern deck since I got back into Magic years ago was actually Ad Naus. I lost a lot because I forgot to hold control and hold priority whenever I Lightning Stormed. We're not going to talk about that, though.
It's a hard deck. No, Ad Naus is like something you have to practice with, and
especially on Moto, it's insane.
I mean, Ad Naus. It was like when I started playing around. I think I started playing Modern, like around Battle for Zendikar when I kind of started. Like Ad Naus was kind of a big deal, and since that time, I have seen like almost no Ad Naus, and now it's starting to become a thing again.
Oh yeah, it's.
But I love playing as Ad Nauseam because Taxes probably has the best game in the world versus it. Because on their upkeep, when they get back their pen tap Prism, you tap Vile, put Flicker Wisp, and take it away.
Oh god!
And they just look at you and they're like, "Really?" And you're like, "Yeah." And then they go to combo off, and then you tap Vile, put in a flicker effect, Flicker Wisp, take their Phyrexian on life, and they kill themselves. I love facing against Ad Naus because Taxes sees less play than probably Ad Naus, and it's just such a mean deck. Yeah, it's so fun to screw with like combo decks.
Ad Naus is also one of those decks that has a cult following. Like no matter how good or bad or like positioned it is in the meta, there are people that just have their Ad Naus deck, and it's usually just foiled out. Yeah. And
there's always one.
Yeah. So moving on to the Pioneer Challenge, we're not going to spend too much time because we are running out of time. This episode actually went a little bit longer than I thought.
We've had a lot to talk about.
Blastoids, which they, I don't know who exactly it is, but they took it down. This is a large scale tournament, 100 plus people. So this is an actual top with a cut to top 8 and everything. Blastoids took it down with mono white, Walking Ballisted Heliod combo with 3 Gideon Ally of Zendikar, or 2 Gideon Allies Zendikar, and 3 words are hard, 3 Gideon of the Trials. So definitely locked and ready to rock against the Inverter deck, excuse me. And then in second place, I'm not even going to try. Second place, Mono Green Ramp, or Mono Green Nykthos. So yeah,
it's back.
It's back again. Yeah, here we go again. And then we have a blue-white flavor of the Walking Ballista Heliod combo with 2 Dragonlord Ojutais. So shout out to Dragonlord, I guess. This one, of course, playing blue for Teferi Time Raveler. This deck seems really good against blue-white. Yeah, I mean, this deck looks good. Elspeth Conquers Death. Tomic seems sweet. Spell Queller's annoying. Yeah, this deck. I mean, Heliod is who we thought he was. It's turning out to be like secretly one of the best decks in the format.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. It was only a matter of time. Like normally people are pretty like, I don't trust Magic players when a set comes out and they say this card's good.
Oh,
this
card's
bad.
busted. This card's busted.
Heliod, I gave the wave to the Heliod combo because we already know how stupid Walking Ballista is as a card.
Yeah, I mean, Walking
We all know
that's
that.
the thing is like, even with Kitty Cat combo, right? The cat is not very good. You would never just play that card in a deck, right?
No, there is no chance.
However, Walking Ballista is a very good card on its own and sees play in a lot of decks. So, to your point, that's why I thought that it was going to be busted. And in fact, in the preview show for Theros Beyond Death, we were going over how it was just, this set was just busted dot set, basically, like combo dot set. We had Thassa's Oracle in a set with Breach. Obviously, that's busted. And we had Heliod, and obviously the known quantity of Walking Ballista, like just home run.
Oh yeah,
home run.
It was only a matter of time.
Oh yeah, and it took a while, but it's here. It has arrived. Goal_Ducat. Sorry if I butchered that. This is inverter, so nothing new here. Just straight up blue-black inverter. Nothing spicy. There's no Ashiok in this version, but it's there. And then we have in 5th place, Kinza Burrow with mono. Oh no, this is blue-white. So this is blue-white Walking Ballista. I mean, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. Deck's very good. Then we have what appears to be Teamer Deep Fiend, I guess you'd call it. I don't know.
Actually, we're getting this. Can you link me to the list? Because I don't actually have it.
Oh, you went dark.
Oh,
there you go. Here,
yeah,
I can. Yes, I can link it to you.
Teamer, is it like Teamer Eldrazi?
No. So it does have some Eldrazi in it, but no, it's got Bone Crusher Giants, Cavalier of Thorns, Champion of Wits, Elder Deep Fiend, Emrakul, Satyr Wayfinder, Sylvan Carrion, and Euro, along with Kozilek's Return, and then there's 2 Ugin, the Spirit Dragon, and 3 Nissa, who shakes the world. This deck seems like a nightmare for blue-white control.
I mean, Deep Fiend is just a house.
Yeah.
Deep Fiend is such a mean card.
That plus Champion of Wits has always been pretty good card against control. Emrakul, obviously insane.
Oh yeah, there's so many good cards in this deck versus the control matchup.
Sideboard is pretty disgusting. They have 4 disputes, 1 display of dominance. Even Brazen Borrower is good.
This display of dominance is like the poor man's what do you call it? The poor man's
Veil Summoner. Yeah.
Veil Summoner. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's everybody's now though, because they got rid of. Okay, so yeah, I mean this deck is very good against blue-white. I believe we probably struggle against this pretty much all day, every day. In 7th place, Mono White. This is kind of an old school throwback version of Mono White. They're only playing 1 Gideon, and then they're playing Arcanus Owl. That's kind of old tech, but still getting 7th place in this tournament. I don't have an exact number on how many people, but I'm assuming it was probably around 150 to 200. So, and then in 8th place is the last deck we are going to touch on today's podcast, because unfortunately there are no blue-white control lists in this entire thing, and I'm scrolling through it as I'm saying this just to double check, but I already checked, and yeah, this is it. This is 8th place, and this is this is green
Golgari
black
Stompy.
Yeah, green black Stompy with Rotting Regisaur ×4, Ronus the Indomitable. Like, this deck is, I mean, it's it can definitely kill you. I think blue-white.
I'm surprised.
3 Great Henge though. That's disgusting and terrifying. Yeah.
So I'm surprised it's not playing Collected Company, because I've seen some of these lists that started playing Coco just so they can go 2 Rotting Regisaurs and then smack you for 14. It's just super mean. It's probably just the most bully thing I've ever seen in Magic.
Well, they have 3 12 drops in their deck though.
Yeah,
Galta
it's
Primal Hunger.
oh god, this I've played this deck. There's a couple people that play. There's a lot of people that play this deck in like the area that I play.
Yeah.
And man, this deck is obnoxious.
Oh, I bet.
Like
Yeah.
riding Regisaur on turn 2 is like just a big old eye roll. I don't like blue white probably not as much, but like this card's obnoxious.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Ronus is really annoying. Questing Beast is great against control. Scrap Heap Scrounger is super annoying.
Oh.
Surrox, like, dumb if they're formidable.
Which they're going to probably be.
Oh, yeah.
Because it takes 2 things.
And obviously, if you don't have a way to deal with Regisaur or Galta, like, you're just going to die on the spot.
No, 100. It's so fast.
Turn 2 riding Regisaur is no joke, though. Like, make it be known.
It's mean.
If they go Elf Regisaur, you're like, you better have an Azorius Charm or something.
Lovestruck Beast is really good too. It's a 2-for-1, which a lot of people forget about. Like Lovestruck Beast is really powerful.
Yeah, Lovestruck Beast, if unchecked, and they have that 1/1, which, this deck, it's got Llanowar Elves, it's got Elvish Mystic, it's got obviously the token from Lovestruck Beast itself. Probably a good chance they're gonna have that 1/1.
Stain the Mind.
The Stains in the sideboard. Yep.
That's a cool card.
Vivian Reed, Shifting Ceratops is great against us.
I mean, Ceratops is so mean. That card is insane.
Yeah.
Nice card. She's a legacy play.
Yeah. Card's very, very good. Can't be targeted by Teferi, so. But yeah, I mean, so my general takeaway from all of these tournaments, the Modern Preliminary, the Pioneer Preliminary, and the Pioneer Challenge. There wasn't a Modern Challenge, or else we would have went over it, but yeah, there just wasn't one. I don't know why, but it is what it is. Blue-white is playable still. It is not nearly as dominant as it was a few weeks ago. However, keep on keeping on. I think, I would say I know that in Modern, Bant is the way to go. That Bant Stoneblade deck is the way to go in Modern.
Oh, yeah.
Blue-white still good. I know that John Farrow, who has been on the podcast, is still having a lot of success on Moto with it in Pioneer. He has updated the list. Of course, I'm streaming 4 nights a week, so feel free to check me out over on twitch.tv/lessalex. It's still good. It's still good. You just have to tune your sideboard. That is really because of how much versatility the deck has. You have to really hone in and know what you're fighting against on a week-to-week. I mean, as much as people are playing on Moto right now, I would say you have to know on a daily basis.
Oh, yeah.
So feel free to hit me up, DM me. There's a lot of awesome. Skur is a good person to DM and talk to. He's really great. He'll probably just chit chat with you for hours if you drag him down the rabbit hole. Same thing with John. A lot of good people. Obviously, Sean Mogulgard, who top 4'd that Open. Definitely somebody to talk to as well. But yeah, just keep chipping away. Do you have anything for the folks before we sign off?
No, not really. People still want to play Magic, and we're going to find ways to do it.
Yeah, I think right now with everything obviously not great, but it's still to me an interesting time to see, as we said at the top of the show, how Wizards of the Coast moves forward after all this is said and done.
Oh yeah. We can hope that we find a way out of this mid-April. Like mid-April would be such a nice thing if we could figure out a way and get out of this and start returning to mostly a normal life.
I am under the mindset that that's probably not going to happen, but I hope so. But either way, that does it for the 43rd episode. We are approaching 52. We are approaching an entire year of podcasting. This is insane. Thank you, everybody, for listening, as always. Again, if you want to support the content, now's a great time to do it. Head on over to patreon.com/lessalex. Become a patron over there. Get some stickers, get some awesome swag, and you get a lot of awesome extra content. And you get a shout out on the podcast whenever you first join. So bang, bang.
Talk about the idea with donation decks.
Oh, yeah. So that's a good thing that you mentioned. So I just, we did donation decks. I do them occasionally, basically whenever anybody wants to do a donation deck over on Twitch, I do one. But basically the way that I'm changing it now is as long as you are a regular on the Twitch channel, I will allow you, and we did this the first time ever with Jake last night.
Oh, it was a good time.
Yeah, he came in on a Discord chat, and we talked, and we just like kind of chit-chatted, chopped it up, and talked through the plays. People always like to troll me and make me play mid-range green decks, and I'm not very good with those. I know my strengths and I know my weaknesses, and that is definitely one of them. So yeah, come on the stream, troll me a little bit. But yeah, anytime you do a donation deck, as long as you're a regular, I kind of do have to screen and make sure nobody dropping nonsense on my stream. But yeah, check it out. Twitch.tv/LesAlex. And of course, there is that TCGplayer.com affiliate link there in the description. And of course, please, it's free. It takes 15 seconds. Head on over to Apple Podcasts. Give me a 5-star review. I would definitely appreciate that. Thank you, everyone, for listening. And if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the like button. And as always, keep spreading that Azorius propaganda and have a great night. See you, everybody.
Night.